VGK came from behind late last night to tie the Dallas Stars at 2 apiece on a William Karlsson goal, and then they won it in a shootout over Dallas to stay undefeated at 4-0. We'll talk all about it. As far as the star of the night, my number one star, William Karlsson, right here on today's edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Your team every day. And you could find us wherever you get your podcast. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. William Karlsson's goal on a deflection of a Kaden Korczak shot on goal, a pass shot, if you will, shot pass.
Shot pass.
It tied the Stars up at 2 apiece with under 3 minutes remaining in the game, and the Golden Knights came back and they defeated Dallas in the shootout round for a 3-2 victory. They improved now to 4-0 on the season, Chris. Craig Smith and Joe Pavelski for the Stars, Korczak and Karlsson in regulation for the VGK. What were your impressions of this game last night? It appeared to have a playoff vibe.
Yeah, we were talking about that up in the press box. You know, kind of early on, talking with Carp next to me, we kind of lightly mentioned playoff vibe in the first period. Tight checking, not a lot of chances. First period wasn't that physical even. There wasn't definitely the feeling of a boil over to what happened in the second and the third period. But then definitely after the second period, it's like, okay, we're watching a playoff game on October 17th of the regular season. That definitely made for a really fun night. I enjoyed the game within the game first. So you have Cassidy, right? Limits the chances to the neutral zone. Not a lot of odd man rushes for the opposition. You have DeBoer on the other side, or we've called him DeBoering many times, not just us, but many people across the NHL. He keeps a very conservative style of play that is opportunistic, designed to take advantage when the opposition makes a mistake. Well, the Golden Knights didn't make a lot of mistakes as far as giving transitions, so that really limited Dallas's chances to really just kind of greasy type of goals, right? Both of Dallas's goals, you got just a scrub in front of the net. Craig Smith finds a way in. And then Jason Robertson right off the draw, quick shot. Aiden Hill doesn't see it, just, taps the ice, says, good shot, bro. And you move forward. But just a lot of fun last night. Good to see the Golden Knights pass their first test without Alex Pietrangelo and Alec Martinez last night. So credit the defense. They had to play 10 minutes short because Hutton and Haig definitely were having some fun fighting last night. And I do want to credit Jamie Benn. I've been all over him leading up to the game, but Jamie Benn made a very professional play, if you will. It seemed like Ben almost asked Haig for the fight. Like I get they're answering the bell for what happened with Mark Stone. Haig and Ben were kind of jawing a little bit at the end of the first period. But when you take Haig off the ice, that's one of the most experienced defensemen in the lineup now without Martinez and Pietrangelo. So it was actually a smart play. And Dallas's first goal comes as a result of Korczak not being able to clear the slot.
Okay, so a couple of fights last night, and you alluded to Haig versus Jamie Benn. Let's get things straight here. Nick Haig is not an elite fighter. He lost that fight. It was not an even fight, as state-run media said.
No, it was 10-9 Ben. 10-9 Ben. That's what the official score.
I'm glad you agree with me because, oh my goodness, he handled him. He hit him a couple of really good rights.
It was a good fight, but Ben won the fight.
Ben won the fight.
Yeah.
And then the other Ben, Hutton, got into a scrap as well. That was on a late hit on Brett Howden.
Yeah, so I asked Cassidy about that in the post game, and I said, is there concern watching two of your more experienced defensemen going to the box for 5 minutes apiece when you have your two most experienced defensemen out of the lineup? And right away, Cassie didn't seem overly concerned. He cited he wanted to talk to Hagen, find out, what led to it, if it was just carryover from last year or if there was something happening throughout the game. And then Ben Hutton's situation, or Huddy, as Coach Cassidy called him in the postgame, Huddy was simply a response to what seemed to be a dangerous hit on Howden, and that's just the team standing up for each other. Cassidy's okay with it. He knows the forwards got to buckle down and play a little bit tougher as far as a defensive game goes for that 5 minutes while they're down someone in the back end of the rotation, and I get it. Cassidy said the right thing. I don't know if I completely buy him being okay with it in the circumstance, but at the end of the day, if Coach says he's okay with it and the Golden Knights come out with a gritty victory in a spot where it seemed like it wasn't going to happen, it's all good. It's all good.
We saw a note from VGK Communications last night that the Golden Knights didn't have their fourth fighting major until their 23rd game last season, and that was November the 26th. More physicality this season in the early going for the Vegas Golden Knights than we've seen in the past. A lot more. Did they have? It was 40-17 VGK on hits last night. That's what I saw the final numbers. 40-17.
The hits always get skewed to the home team.
Was this? Wait. Were these the same judges that had Hague winning the fight?
Possibly it was. The interesting takeaway from me in the game, and no one asked about it in the post game. We all kind of got lost in the moment, I guess. But Barbashev, he only had 12 minutes 47 seconds of ice time last night.
Look at also look at Amadio. Sorry to cut you out there.
No, you're fine.
Amadio's minutes after Karlsson gave him the absolute stink eye. I'm using one of your terms too.
I'll take it.
He gave him the stink eye there when they were over at the bench, and then I didn't see very much of him after that. So I was
Amadio only 9 minutes 5 seconds as well. I mean, did he really get benched because he missed a shot? I mean, I don't.
I know.
I thought Amadio was having a really strong game overall.
Karlsson kind of got on him, like on the bench. He was, I don't know, lecturing him about something.
I mean, all joking aside, we both are critical of Karlsson at different moments. If that, I didn't see that happen, obviously from upstairs, but if the cameras caught that, and if Karlsson is getting on Amadio to hold him accountable for something, good. That's what a veteran does. That's what the leadership does. But back to Barbashev, like the lines went in a blender late in the game, and Barbashev had a shift where he was very frustrated, looked like he was going to take a penalty. And we were wondering what kind of happened with him. Well, 12 minutes, 47 seconds of ice time. I don't think he got hurt in the game. So Cassidy, it's interesting to see Cassidy shortening the bench, and Ivan Barbashev is the one that, winds up being the loser in all of that as far as losing minutes. Cassidy was fun in the post-game presser. We did talk about the lines being shaken up and stuff, and he put William Karlsson on the wing, which glad he did.
On the wing, wasn't he?
He was on the wing. And
with who? Which line?
He was up. I thought he was up top on that one.
I thought
could be wrong.
Moved him up on the top line.
I thought he moved him up, and Cassidy's like, I don't know how much wing he's played, but and then kind of laughing, of course. But he's a smart player, knows the game well, competes hard, so he'll kind of figure it out. But then he said, like, I gotta sit down and talk to him about that, and just maybe learn a little bit more about his capabilities. Chris Chapman asked a great question in the post game. He referenced that Korczak was out there. We'll talk more about him in the second segment, of course. But he referenced that Korczak was out there in the overtime shift. And the way Chapman framed the question was, what does it say about your team when you're comfortable putting your 9th-ranked defenseman out there, in the 4th game of the season? And Cassidy says, I must be crazy. But I couldn't tell if it was more of a joke.
No, it's a joke. No, it's a joke. And he definitely
you have to watch the way he said it. He
has a swagger about him. He has a swagger.
He does.
Like now, He's feeling his oats, man. He came in with a new tan yesterday.
Cassidy won that game. Cassidy's late adjustments won that game. So, I mean, Aiden Hill, great game. Jack Eichel still shooting at everything that moves. 8 more shot attempts. He leads the NHL in shots early on with 25 shots.
25.
But, the Golden Knights, they couldn't find their scoring. They couldn't find it. They weren't going to beat Oettinger clean. I said that in the third period. They're going to have to get, a screen or a greasy goal, just something that's going to happen. And, credit Karlsson almost got another tip in the very next shift that he took to ice this one in regulation. Like, Karlsson knows where to go. I mean, we do talk about him on the show, but Karlsson does get a lot of credit for his effort last night. I thought line 3 was good. I don't understand Mike Amadio only getting 9 minutes. They generated some looks out there. Howden played a really responsible game. And I mean, we can probably do a whole 30 minutes about this game if we wanted to.
We're not going to, but
No,
Jonathan Marchessault had the shootout winner. 2 crossbars in the shootout for the Stars. Rupe Hintz, the last one, which sealed the game, and Robertson as well. Shea Theodore also with a shootout goal. Matt Duchene for Dallas, so I think it's going to be a pretty good addition. And one other note on this game last night, a couple of other ones. Oh, yeah, they did the Misha Donskov tribute.
Yes, video. That was nice. That was very nice.
Nice touch, and thank you for listening to our show because they forgot. No, they just said, good luck on the way out the door. Don't let the door. Okay. And then VGK couldn't capitalize on the 5-on-3 last night when they had the opportunity.
Yes.
So.
That could have been the turning point. It's kind of odd that the Misha Donskov welcome back video happened earlier in the day than his good riddance, good luck in your future endeavors tweet that the team sent out late at 9:44 on a Sunday night. So, but, listen, it's nice to see him. I don't know if they made amends necessarily, but it was a nice touch. And, going to the shootout here really fast, Stephen Marsh was to my left, and he was filming the shootouts. And right as Marchessault is going in, I said, low blocker side. And sure enough, that's exactly where Marchessault scored. Aiden Hill had another funny one in overtime. He thinks that was the first time he ever won a shootout without making a single save. So it was, it was a good shift in the locker room last night. And I'm sure the team is absolutely buzzing as they get on the road to Winnipeg.
Coming up next, Bruce Cassidy said that it was a good experience last night for Kaden Korczak. Good experience to face the Dallas Stars in a playoff-like atmosphere. We'll talk about that when we return
in October.
We'll talk about that next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and much, much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You will always find exactly what you are looking for. And the eBay Guaranteed Fit is making sure that your part is guaranteed to fit your ride each and every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts that you need and the prices that you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive with ebaymotors.com. That's ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. We are also brought to you today by Gametime, the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. Gametime has deals on tickets right up until the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats, and it's really good, especially for all the VGK fans out there. With zone deals, you pick the section, and Gametime picks the seats for an average of about 18% savings. And the Gametime guarantee means that you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Gametime app today, create an account, Use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem with the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. We are back on Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen. Don't forget on Fridays, WTF, What the Friday. So yesterday, one of my good music friends bounces into town, right, and invites me to go to a private party last night over at the Cosmopolitan. Thanks, Vic. And so Brett Young, a country artist who's really good dude too, had a chance to hang out. So that's what I was doing during most of the game, back and forth, and watching hockey and watching fricases and then watching music. And Alan Stone also opened last night, who is a really good artist as well. So
someone get me in the Green Day show tonight. Green Day is doing a secret show.
Is that tonight or was it last night?
It's today or tomorrow they're doing it, supposedly, looking at that post you put up. And
yeah, I thought it was last night.
It could be Friday.
Sure
I don't know, but Green Day's in Vegas.
Yeah.
Something's happening right now. Someone get me tickets. I'll give you VIP access to insider information about Tony's flip phone.
Okay. They were ripping my flip phone last night for the way that this camera works. I didn't think that was fair. I was a little bit below the belt, but we'll save those comments until WTF.
Nothing's below the belt on this podcast. Nothing.
So Kaden Korczak finally scored his first goal in the 13 NHL games I think that he's appeared in.
Finally, in 13 games? Finally?
Yeah. Well, because most players come up and score in their very first game.
That's true. Vegas has had a lot of luck with that.
Okay. So he also had an assist as he took that shot shot that William Karlsson tipped in with his eyes closed in the third period. And Karlsson had the deflection, into the net. Cassidy said playing in a game like the one last night against the Stars will definitely help out in the future for Korczak because he played against what he believed was a really solid team, and they were, and they will be, and a cup contender. And he said that it would make Korczak better in May if they need to rely on him. Talk about the path of Korczak, because we thought last season he would be the next man up. Had injuries, correct, last year?
He did have some injuries down the stretch, I believe, but you could see his game growing. He definitely is ready to, do very well at the AHL level. And of course, he's moving in the right direction to be, he's not going to be an everyday, well, he could be an everyday NHL player the way the VGK defense is banged up right now. But there's a lot of lineups I'd say at least half the lineups in the National Hockey League where Korczak would most likely draw in on an everyday basis. Obviously, he'd have to, earn his way to stay in the lineup, but he certainly would have the opportunity to play every day for, between 13 and 18 NHL other teams that aren't as deep as the Golden Knights. Luckily and unfortunate in the same breath, Korczak's been able to draw into the lineup since the third game of the season, I believe, with Pietrangelo's injury, which has been really quiet. We're speculating concussion, not cleared to come back, but that's pure speculation, nothing more than that. But he was noticeable last night, right? It wasn't just about scoring the goal or having the assist down the stretch. He was engaged. He was part of the game. He was part of the outcome of the game. And there was obviously a lot of questions in the post-game presser about his experience and how he felt. And he definitely felt that he enjoys a scrappy type of game like this. He has that edge to his game, he said. And it's an environment that he's very comfortable being a part of. I took the easy route in my question with him in the post-game presser. I asked him who his first phone call would be. And he, of course, cited his parents. They've been with him since the beginning and stood with him in the highs and the lows. So, of course, he wanted to share that moment with them. He felt that his parents did see the game live. There's only a 2-hour time difference where they're from. So, that's it's good to see. And it was good that the Golden Knights got the victory so Korczak could enjoy that moment with his teammates versus being kind of like a down locker room after a loss.
Why was Korczak on the ice in the third period? He was on the ice in overtime too, right? As you mentioned. And Cassidy said that he thought about putting another forward into the game. So I just wanted to know about that. And this is definitely, a situation for Kaden Korczak where he needs those repetitions, as Cassidy also mentioned last night.
So here's something interesting to look at here. Braden McNabb, 22 minutes of ice time. Korczak, 19 minutes of ice time. Nick Hague, 21 minutes, plus he had the 5-minute
Plus a big an L for the
I
elite
won't say
fighter.
big. It was an L. It was
He's an elite fighter, man. He shouldn't be losing any fights.
Braden Bahal, 14 minutes, 53 seconds of ice time. So, you hear this so often, coaches' trusts. I feel like we didn't hear coaches' trust a lot last season, but we heard it every time we mention Comtois, coaches' trust, other players have the coach's trust, So Korczak earned a lot of the coach's trust, but Bruce Cassidy did keep him grounded a little bit last night and said he just needs his reps. He needs his reps. He needs more game experience. Like you said, 13 games of NHL experience. He's coming along the right way, but it's only 13 games. And this is a hard league to crack. But once you do get in there, once you do show you can be trusted, it's not, circle of trust, right? There you go. Circle of trust. Korczak, he's knocking on the door of that circle of trust where he could become a regular in this lineup. I mean, the way the injuries are going, who knows? Looks like Alec Martinez will play at some point on the road trip. That'll be a welcome return. And hopefully, we get a glimpse of Pietrangelo practicing up in Canada or Chicago, and maybe he'll make the return this road trip as well. Who knows?
The one downside for Korczak, again, he did play a lot of minutes last night, and he is a younger player, out of position on the Craig Smith goal.
So
he was a first time this season. Was he a passenger?
A little bit, yeah. So I felt that in general, especially in the first period of the game, I felt when Pahal and Korczak were out there, Dallas was buzzing. And that's not a knock on those guys. They just have limited experience. And there's a lot of really good players on the Dallas Stars, in case you guys didn't get a chance to look at that roster. And that's why I credit Jamie Benn for taking Hague out of the game for 5 minutes, which led to Craig Smith scoring a goal from the doorstep. Maybe if Hague's out there, that doesn't happen. We don't know. We can only speculate. But yeah, Korczak, there were times he was a little bit out of position, but 13 games, that's going to happen. The Golden Knights are down, 1,200 games, 13. No, the Golden Knights are down over 2,000 games as far as experience, right? I mean, Martinez and Pietrangelo got to be right around the 2,000 games net club, maybe not regular season, but just net games overall when you factor playoffs and everything. And now you have Pahal and Korczak out there who have less than 30 games, less than 40 games of experience between the two. So there's going to be a curve. That's part of what happens. But, the good thing is it's 4 games into the new season. The Golden Knights have had a ton of injuries, a suspension, now a good game of adversity, and they sit 4-0. Looks like the stars are aligning.
Well, we're going to talk about that next, but I wanted to ask you about.
I almost got
the perfect transition. No, because I just had one. I know the segue. Good idea. Great idea. Great thought. Brett Howden.
School paid off.
The Brett Howden line last night was line 3 last night, right? And then Cotter moved up to the second line. So, what was their play like, both Howden and Cotter?
Cotter a little less noticeable last night. I think I'll start by saying that. Cotter went down to the 4th line. Is that a demotion? I don't know if it was a demotion as much as it was just Cassidy putting everything in a blender, and it worked. I mean, we saw our first line blender of the year, and it led to a victory. You said Howden. How was Howden's game last night too? Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Howden was fine. He had some good synergy. Line 3 did a really good job shutting down the opposition, and I kept saying all night we are going to hear from this third line, Karlsson, Amadio, and of course Howden, and we kind of did. I mean, Karlsson got moved up, but they did have their chances. Amadio missed the layup, unfortunately, but listen, that happens. I mean, it's easy for me and you and 18,000 hockey fans at T-Mobile Arena to, shake our head when someone misses an open net, but lace him up and, try and score a goal against an AHL goalie, even with the net half open. It's not as easy as it looks, guys.
Coming up next, early season magic for the VGK. You said the Stars are aligning, but not the Dallas Stars, because they hit the crossbar twice.
They did
in the shootout period. Everything falling in place for the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll talk about it next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. The NHL season's finally here. Will the Vegas Golden Knights reign supreme again? They're right on track. We love the NHL. We know that you do as well. And that's why we want to tell you about Sleeper. Sleeper is the go-to platform for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey. With Sleeper, you have the chance to win 100 times your cash on daily fantasy. And the NHL has never been more exciting than it is right now with the superstars, Jackie Aces, who now has shot 25 times. So he's got a good chance of scoring. Leads the NHL in shooting.
Leads the NHL.
I was a big critic. You need to shoot more. And so was Cassidy. And now 25 shots on goal through the first 4 games of the season. You've got players like McDavid. You've got Crosby. You've got Makar. So many good superstars in the National Hockey League. Simply select more or less based on their stats, such as goals, assists, points, saves, and more. Yes, you heard us right here, VGK fans. Sleeper offers 100 times payouts. So start paying attention, make the right picks, and you could win big. Entries really take a very little time, under 30 seconds. And it is now live as Sleeper in 28 plus states. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Back on this Wednesday edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Ready?
Man, already, exactly. It's like, around the football coaches at UNLV this week, I was like, doesn't this season seem like it's flying by because you're winning? When you win, right, it's pretty easy. Season goes by very quickly, and everyone's having fun. And Bruce Cassidy gets more time on the tanning bed.
I got a special guest coming in right now. Hold on.
No, not Allie.
I got Allie. Allie, guess what?
Allie, move over so we can get you in the picture. Allie,
right my shoulder. Put your head right my shoulder. Put your head right my shoulder. There you go. All right, Allie. So did you just woke up, right? What was the score of the game last night? Did mommy tell you?
Yeah.
Golden Knights won 3-2?
Yeah.
What was your prediction last night?
32 Knights.
Allie, you're perfect on the season so far.
Did you tell her she's got a lot of fans?
You have a lot of fans. Yeah, you're popular on Twitter and YouTube.
You are really popular. Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to start getting Allie's predictions here. She's the magic right now.
Okay.
She just woke up.
All right. That poor thing.
Smile. 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 Smile.
Thanks, Allie.
Oh, here comes Christopher.
Oh, no.
Chris, you're 2-2, buddy. Allie's perfect. What do you have to say for yourself?
Chris, yeah. Just the eye roll. Just the eye roll.
Okay, eye roll. Good job.
So,
all right. Thanks, guys.
You wanted to talk about everything falling into place for VGK in the early part of this season. Yes, they are 4-0. They do have some sort of magical appeal. I mean, literally, when in the shootout, 2 shots hit the crossbar. Okay. I mean, everything, again, kind of reminiscent of last season, and especially the early part of last season for the Golden Knights.
No doubt. Listen, it's game 4, but we were talking about a playoff vibe and all that. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We have 78 games to go and a lot more injuries to come. And of course, I'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge, is Mark Stone gonna, stay healthy? Like, there's so many things that can happen, the goaltending holding up and all that. But you know what? It's 4 games in, and a game like last night does show you the potential of this team. They're still down 3 regulars in the lineup. We didn't even mention Zach Whitecloud. Zach Whitecloud, who is a great stay-at-home defenseman that can rush the puck well. And they held the Dallas Stars to 2 goals. And of course, it was nice to see them, keep ringing them off the post and the crossbar in the shootout. But hey, that's part of what good teams do. They put themselves in situations to get lucky. There has to be some luck involved. Hitting the crossbar, the goalie got beaten, got lucky that it was a millimeter high versus a millimeter too low. And it just kind of has that vibe that maybe something fun can happen again in the 23-24 season. I think Granger pointed out this is the first Stanley Cup champion to start the season 4-0, and going back to one of the Red Wings teams or something like that. So, I mean, you just don't know. There's a vibe. It's a little different. And early in last season, the Golden Knights were good. Didn't know how good they could be. Well, last season, or now this season, we know how good they were last season. And maybe they're starting a little better than last season right now. So we could be in store for another long playoff run. We'll have to see.
Among the strengths in the early part through 4 games, small sample size, among the strengths, VGK goaltending. Last night, Aiden Hill, one goal that you could more or less, I would blame on Korczak again because he's only played 13 games. So, yeah, definitely. And then the other goal, he didn't see the Pavelski goal off of the draw.
Goal.
But he stopped.
I said Robo. It's Pavelski. My bad.
It's okay, man. I'm not here to correct you. I just thought, let's be semi-accurate today.
You weren't paying attention.
And so I did hear you, but I thought that you said that he took the draw. So I just rolled with it.
Hintz took the draw.
Stopping
I know that
24 of 26 shots, but goaltending, again, due to the structure, the system of Bruce Cassidy, is definitely, the things are looking up, and maybe they don't need that third goaltender like we've alluded to all summer.
Well, listen, we went 31 minutes and 9 seconds without even talking about how good of a game Aiden Hill had, for the first 65 minutes.
It's become routine. One show we didn't even mention Aiden Hill.
Listen, he's the man right now.
Aiden Hill. Come on. You told me you still believe Logan Thompson's going to get more starts.
I'm going to stay on that just because Aiden Hill hasn't proved he can stay healthy. But I will shift in the perspective of where I felt Logan Thompson would emerge as the better of the two goalies, and that's a hill that I'm not gonna stay on much longer. Ooh,
that's an Aiden Hill.
There. That's an Aiden Hill that I'm not going to die on, I guess. And listen, this is a good thing, right? It's okay if Aiden Hill does, cement himself as the number one, because Logan Thompson is not a bad goalie either, and Logan Thompson is going to carry this team through a lot of pockets, and there's going to be goalie injuries. I mean, neither goalie has played more than 37 or 38 regular season appearances. So, one of these goalies is going to have to carry the mail when the other one is down. It's most likely how it's going to go a couple times through the season. But, again, this is back to the stars aligning right now. Everything just seems to be working out, and
especially the schedule.
It's not a tough schedule, guys. I'm with Tony. I'm not saying it's rigged, but it is definitely not nearly rigged. As tough of a schedule.
They should have a first place schedule. They should have had the same schedule. They should have had the schedule that San Jose had.
It's not the Golden Knights' fault that half the Pacific is Charmin Softs. I mean, let's start there. That you can't blame the Golden Knights on that. And otherwise, there's not a whole lot of.
Nor is it their fault that we saw Gary Bettman drinking 16 beers out of the cup the other night.
Gary Bettman cranked the siren.
Did they move it? Did they have to move it? Because he was behind the stage there, pulling all the strings.
Well, no. So they actually moved the funny thing about the opener. They actually moved the siren into Foley's suites. I thought that was interesting.
It was pretty funny, actually.
That siren is mobile. We actually got it when I ran poker rooms. I pushed for this for like 2 weeks, and I finally got into Kaedan. They brought the siren to the watch party at Planet Hollywood. And so we got to crank it there between the periods, like we were at a game and all that. And then we even made a fundraising thing out of it where, like, during commercial breaks, the people put like $10 or $20 in the hat and got to go spin it and stuff. And it all obviously went to the VGK Foundation. It was we raised almost $100,000 that day between the charity series of poker events and the siren crankings.
Okay, coming up, of course, on tomorrow's show, we'll preview the Winnipeg game. And they've got, again, Winnipeg could catch them off guard, I think. Perhaps
Winnipeg's going to be scrappy. It's going to be scrappy. The only thing Golden Knights have going for them is the Winnipeg Jets just played the Kings. Pierre-Luc Dubois, returning all that. So maybe there'll be a little bit of a letdown factor, and the Golden Knights could catch them off guard, but who knows?
Yeah, then they travel to Chris's team, Chicago, after that. Rigged. It's definitely rigged. And we'll talk about all that on tomorrow's show. Of course, we'd like to thank everyone, especially our everydayers, the folks that put up with, especially me. 75% of the time, you said they really like me?
No, 25% of the time.
Oh, okay. And don't forget, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. And thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco. Enjoy the day. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights.